Hey everyone, Francesca Nicasio here from BeAFreelanceWriter.com and welcome to my first video newsletter. So for this week, I decided to stir things up a bit, and instead of sending my regular email text-based newsletter, I'm sending you a video. And what I want to talk about today is that famous question, what if I'm not good enough? And I don't know a single writer who hasn't asked that question. And while I'm usually very encouraging and I usually tell people not to underestimate their abilities, let's get real here. There are times when reality speaks for itself. There are times when you're really not where you want to be skill-wise, but that's okay. I don't want you to feel down or to beat yourself up, because while you may not be at that pro writer level just yet, there are a lot of things that you can do so that you can get there. And for this newsletter, I want to share a personal story as well as a few tips that can help you be where you want to be as a writer. Right? So here goes. As most of you know, I work with a lot of tech startups in the online and e-commerce space, and one of the companies that I work for, or one of the companies I'm still working with rather, is growing really, really fast. They're gaining a lot of traction. They're getting covered in all the big blogs and in the biggest publications. They're getting features at CNN, at Forbes, and all that stuff. And it was going really great for them. But there was one problem, and it was me. As a writer, I couldn't keep up with their growth. And so the story is that one day they asked me to submit an article on their behalf to a major publication, and it was a magazine that was bigger and more intimidating than I'm used to. So I was having one of those "what if I'm not good enough" moments, and well, things didn't really turn out as well as I hoped. The editors pretty much tore my article apart, and it wasn't accepted. But so after that, the founder of that company, he had this little talk with me, and he said, "Francesca, we love you, we love working with you, and we'd like you to keep writing for us, but in order to do that, you have to step up your game." He pretty much said that, "I'd like to challenge you to level up because your work isn't on par with where we want it to be." And you don't exactly have to read between the lines to see that what he was telling me was that my work wasn't good enough. So, I worked hard to get to that level, and the following tips that I'm going to share are the steps that I took to help me step up my game and be the writer that my client needed me to be. Okay? So the first thing that I did was say thank you. I know that if someone, critiques or rejects your work, saying thank you isn't exactly your first instinct, but do it anyway. If someone is being critical with what you've done, whether it's an editor or a client, it doesn't help to go all butthurt and sensitive. Rather, you need to stay professional, and you need to stay graceful and classy and thank the other party for pointing out your shortcomings. When my client and I had that little talk, I ended things by giving him a sincere thank you because I was genuinely grateful that he was pushing me to become better. And I'd like to encourage you to do the same. Be gracious, be grateful, and if someone is being critical or negative with your work, know that they're not trying to put you down and it's nothing personal. Okay, so the second thing that I did was to subscribe to newsletters or industry publications. When we had that talk, once I put on the phone and all that, I went ahead and tried to educate myself as much as possible about their industry. So I started subscribing to high-level publications like the Wall Street Journal and the Harvard Business Review and all these other papers. And I also started paying for research and studies so that I can get my hands on the latest data or the latest surveys, and that helped me really get to know what's happening in their field. And eventually, it all paid off because I had access to the most advanced statistics and research, and all that information, all that data really helped me beef up my articles and come up with better ideas. Now, I'm not telling you to start buying these magazines or subscriptions and all that, but what I am saying is to do your best to keep yourself abreast with what's happening in your industry. You know, ask yourself, what is the best and most informative, most influential magazines, books, and websites that you can get your hands on, and then just read them. Like, say you're in the medical field, and you're writing about psychology. Why not go to the library or just Google the top medical or psych journals and read about what's going on? What's the most groundbreaking research? What's the latest medical cure? I suggest doing this several times a week so that you always have an eye and an ear on what's going on in your field. And that in turn will make you smarter. It will enable you to generate ideas, write better, and add more value to your readers. Okay, and my third tip is this is it, read books. If it's a matter of improving your style, I highly, highly suggest reading. I've found that it stimulates my brain and it helps me write better because it exposes me to various writing styles and it helps me widen my vocabulary. And so I started to consciously cut back on my Facebook and TV time just so I can get more reading done, and it really has done wonders for me. In fact, to give you an example, one of the books that I picked up is this one. It's Writing Tools by Roy Peter Clark. It's a really awesome book, and it has helped me tighten up my writing and really make my style and paragraphs and all that more compelling. So that's my third and final tip. I would like to encourage you to read more. And it doesn't even have to be a book about writing. You can start with something easy. Start by picking up a book in a genre that you genuinely love, then go from there. And as for my client, well, after taking these steps, I did meet their standards, and I'm pleased to share that my next articles got approved, they got great feedback, and they were all published. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up my thoughts for that question, what if I'm not good enough? And now I'd like to hear from you. So if you have any tips or if you have any opinions regarding what I just said, please comment below or feel free to email me at francesca@beafreelancewriter.com. And also, if you know anyone who needs advice on how to become a freelance writer, please send them to www.beafreelancewriter.com. The URL is below just so you don't have to take it down. And that's it. Thanks for watching and see you guys next time.